All right, I got it. All right, here we go. Let's start again. Happy good morning, everybody. And are we on? Are we working? Good morning. Can't hear. No sound. Yeah. Okay. I think we got the sound. If someone can let me know sound is going. My apologies for delayed start today. We usually begin at 8:30. Today we are starting at. You know what, everyone? Just hang in there for 1 second, please. Okay, it's okay now. All right, let me just do one more thing, and I'll get right back on. Let me just fix something here. Give me 1 second. We'll get this straight. Okay, here we are. Good morning, and welcome to our midweek show. Apologize for the delay this morning. I had a meeting up in Central Bucks, and we just got back to the office. But I don't know, when I came back, there's something that wasn't happening here that's happening up there, and it was snowing. So we actually see some snow. It's December. There's some normalcy to our lives. And it gave me a little bit of a chill that literally and figuratively that we're really getting close to the festival of Hanukkah, which is literally just about 36 hours away. So I want to share an inspiration for Hanukkah. But before we do that, I want to once again bring up the banner of our Hanukkah events, jewishcenter.info/Hanukkah events. We have everyone covered. If you like to go out, you want to do an outdoor event, a drive-by event, we bring things to your home if you want to celebrate with yourself at home together with the community. So whatever level you are of comfort in during this pandemic, during this time, we have something for you, because the main thing is that some things change, but many things should not change. And one of those things is Hanukkah and the celebration, because we don't just celebrate things. We learn from things. We become inspired by events. Hanukkah isn't just something we remember from the past, but we draw energy from our holidays, meaning and inspiration. So certainly this year we can't go less. We have to do more. So make sure you go to the website, find out a program that talks to you, tune in so you can bring everything into your life and make it a meaningful Hanukkah. So as we're preparing the menorahs, and we have a large menorah outdoors, we're delivering about 100 menorahs to people that are going to be staying indoors, and many in between. We think about the menorah, and as you take out your menorah this evening or tomorrow and you dust it off, you put the candles, I want you to think of this story. Think how lucky we are to be able to have our menorah, to be able to buy those candles, get those candles, whether Hanukkah Wonderland, at McCaffrey's, or anything else, anywhere else. But it isn't always like that. And I want to share with you a story of a menorah that I heard as a child. I heard it as a teenager. And recently I heard someone else sharing it. And it really is an inspiring story for many reasons. And I'll tell you why afterwards. But this is the story. We know in Russia, many Hasidim were sent to the Gulag for one simple reason. Because they refused to bend, and they continued having their Jewish education, underground schools for the children, to keep that spark of Judaism alive for the next generation. And many Hasidim were caught having underground synagogues, mikvahs, schooling, yeshivas. And one of these Hasidim were in the Gulag. And it was Hanukkah. And every year of his life, he lit the menorah. He had his menorah, he had his oil, he had his wicks, he had a match. And Hanukkah was beautiful. This Hanukkah, it was dark, it was gloomy, away from family, away from community, and he didn't have his Hanukkah menorah. Not only didn't he have his own Hanukkah menorah, there was no Hanukkah menorah to be gotten. The Russian authorities would never, ever bring him the menorah or allow him to light the menorah. So what did he do? Hanukkah couldn't go by because, as I said earlier, we don't do things just to remember something that happened. In Judaism, every mitzvah and every ritual is a reservoir of energy that we bring into our life when we observe. And this chassid knew that this Hanukkah, he needed Hanukkah more. He needed that little light, that little flame to spark something inside of him to bring him the warmth. What was he going to do? And it was bothering him for a number of days, weeks before Hanukkah, until he realized he came up with a plan. And he realized from the food that he gets every morning, he can somehow create his own menorah, a little conventional, maybe not that practical, but every morning they would give butter for the prisoners to eat. And every once in a while, they would even give a potato. So he started collecting these potatoes a week before, and he collected 4 potatoes. And the margarine, he figured every day he has margarine, or it wasn't margarine back then, the butter, he would be able to use that. And when butter would, since it's a fatty substance, he would use that for the oil. And he cut the potato in half, carved out a little void, a little hole, and he would put the margarine in there. That would be his oil. But he had a problem. You can't just light oil. You need a match and you need a wick. Where was he going to get that wick? And he was bothered until he realized, you know what? He looks at his jacket or his clothing, whatever he was wearing then, and he saw it was very frayed on the bottom. So he started to take out certain threads and spun it or wound it up, and there he had his wick. So now he had the holder, a menorah of potatoes. He had his oil, which he would use from his daily rations of the butter, and he had his wick. But where's he going to get a match? Luckily, certainly back in those days, I'm sure these days too, his guard, his gulag guard, whatever they were called, was a smoker. And how does a smoker light his cigarette? With a match. So he was able to barter some of his food with the guard to get a match. So here he had his menorah. He had his oil, he had his wick, and he had his match. And as he said, he had one of the most meaningful menorahs at Hanukkah that he has ever had in his life. Why? I think the reason why is because many times we buy a menorah in the store. We buy the candles in the store or the oil. We buy the matches. They're items that don't really belong to us, but we purchase them and we acquire them, and now we have and own those 3 things. In his case, it was the other way around. He didn't bring in the elements of the menorah from outside. He took what he had, and from with what he already had, he was able to create a source of light, a source of that menorah flame that lit in his life for that year and obviously for many years to come. And this, my friend, is the message and inspiration that was always heartwarming to me. When you light the menorah tomorrow night and for the next 8 nights, I want you to think about the flame that exists within you. The objective of Torah, the objective of our Jewish traditions, is not to be stimulated externally by lighting things and bringing things into our life, even religious artifacts. The objective is to use these elements to find the spark within ourselves. Your clothing, your food ration, your own butter. Realize that in everything that you have lays the potential to bring meaning and purpose into your life. Certainly, we strive to have more. But when you strive to have more and you collect to have more, which is a natural human tendency, realize that whatever you end up accumulating is not the things that you have. It's the potential that you have to use those objects to bring light and warmth into the world, into your life, into the life of others. So as the previous Rebbe said, and you'll be hearing more of this throughout Hanukkah, that when you look at the candles, you shouldn't just look at the candles, listen to the candles. These candles tell a story. These candles are speaking to you. There's a message, the message for you. And what that message is for you, only you can hear. But you have to pay attention. And hopefully this message, that the idea of the candles, the flame, the warmth, the purpose, the excitement, is something that exists in your jacket, in your food, in the things you already have. will inspire you to look at what you have now. Get out the spiritual inspiration from that and make it meaningful and make it purposeful. I just heard a little commercial, I think it's from Verizon, and says, don't go back, go forward. Everybody today say, we wish we were just back to normal. My friends, we should never look back. We should always move forward. In every day of our life, from whatever's happening around us, whatever's happened over the last 8 months, let's not say we can't wait to get back to normal. Let's say we can't wait to move forward from what it was into something greater. And as the message on the Hanukkah menorah is, one candle at a time. You start with one little light. Don't overwhelm yourself with the big picture. Start with one candle, and that little candle will lead to something greater. And as long as we're moving forward, as long as we're moving ahead in adding positive light and energy, drawing positive light and energy from everything that takes place around us, before you know it, your personal menorah, your inner menorah, will be full, shining, blazing with great warmth and energy. So once again, let me remind everyone to please go to our website to find those sources that will spark that Hanukkah light within you, from within you, and make this a very meaningful Hanukkah where you don't just watch, where you don't just observe, but you listen and absorb the message that Hashem has for you. Have a great day. Have great preparations for the Hanukkah, because before you know it, within tomorrow evening, we will be lighting that first candle, which will hopefully begin a path for filling up our personal menorahs one light at a time. Have a wonderful day.